So for the past few months, I sat here on Shabbat mornings and listened to all the past presidents, along with some very extraordinary writers, authors, journalists, and rabbis. I'm going to get through this. Sending their blessings to you on your 34 years at CBI and much happiness as you move on to the next chapter in your life. First of all, with apologies to Peter Pitzley, I want to assure everybody in the room and those watching at home, I am not going to do a bibliodrama. But it is my turn. When I asked you, Rabbi, what to speak about on Kol Nidre, your advice to me was to speak from the heart, which of course I can't do, to tell a story. But not being a past president, which is a title most people have had when they've come up here, I can't really talk about my 2 years in the past tense, but I can talk about the past 25 years with you as the rabbi, my rabbi. When I first attended CBI on B Street, I knew I had found a home. But I must admit to you now that it was a bit difficult and somewhat strange to find a rabbi who was my age. Actually, you're 5 months older. We'll be the same age on Friday. A rabbi who did not sport a gray flowing beard and who held on to the bema to read the Torah, not necessarily for balance. But over the past few years, from B Street to Bryan Avenue, I have gotten to know you fairly well while I was serving as Ritual VP, Shamus, Executive VP on our fabulous trip to Israel, and now as President. And along the way, you've helped me get through a divorce. He officiated at our wedding. You comfort us, our families, on the loss of Stephen's son, and last year after the loss of my mother. You listened with your whole heart. We have met twice a month over the past 9 months as COVID prevented us from having the bi-weekly lunches that some of the other presidents have mentioned. And while our first few meetings were Zoom, we were eventually able to begin meeting in person after we had both been vaccinated. Each meeting started with you asking me what was on my agenda to discuss and what questions did I have. At first, I felt like the simple child at Pesach, not knowing what or even how to ask. But despite my initial reticence, our meetings have given me the opportunity to get to know you on a completely different level. Each past CBI president has had their own unique set of challenges, such as sabbaticals and contract negotiations. But I find myself in a rather 1 in a million position, reopening services to an in-person congregation and finding our next rabbi. I'm sure for those involved, the process was equally daunting when they hired you, but none of your predecessors had been at CBI for 34 years. Trying to find the replacement for someone who was the only rabbi most of us have known, with possible exception of Esther and Hal and Bob Sklar, finding someone to replace you and saying goodbye all at the same time frame, that's a rather unique two-step process. So on behalf of our congregation, I want to thank you for your dedication, your compassion, your sense of humor, and for leading us through times that were both tumultuous and challenging. And my hope for you is that your next adventure will be as rewarding as the 34-year adventure you have had with us at CBI. All our best, and Shabbat Shalom.
There is a Hebrew expression, acharon, acharon chaviv. The final is most dear. And as my final president, Phyllis, I have said to you at many of those meetings, I am so grateful that you are my final president because of your heart, of your ability to listen, and your can-do spirit. We are all blessed to have you as the president in this time of transition. And I, again, personally am grateful for you having said yes to the challenge of the presidency. And one of my great gratifications as I look out at so many people that our congregation, B'nai Israel, is to know that you, Phyllis, found your beshert sitting where you're seated, finding and meeting Stephen. And for those who come to services, there are many unanticipated benefits. Again, to you, Phyllis, so much gratitude. Thank you.